Hey everybody, here's a summary of upcoming projects I'll be working on here. First off, this power supply. I recently made a video about it, and I'm going to recap it. I got some Rubicon capacitors here for it, but I got to find one more so I can recap all the faulty capacitors on this thing and get it done and over with. And that Bestech unit, I'm going to have to just go ahead and throw the cover back on it because I'm going to have to order a capacitor to fix this one, because this power supply has like a 220 microfarad 50 volt capacitor, and I don't have any of those on hand, so I have to order one of those or see if Radio Shack has one. And of course I have all the other needed capacitors for this thing to recap it. Until then I'm going to just pop the cover back on and stick it back up on the shelf to get ready to work on it. But also I got to go ahead and get this hyper unit back together because it's been sitting on my table for who knows how long now. I've replaced the capacitors on it. Now I need to just throw the cover back on it, see if it works. And over here we got this HP Pavilion laptop that was brought to me yesterday. It's only been on for just a little bit over a year, and it's a real shame that the person who bought it for the owner, it was a gift. They didn't even bother to get the extended warranty, because I mean HP's little fidget 1-year warranty runs out in no time flat. Just like all the OEMs, they give you a little bitty 1-year warranty, and some of these computers are actually engineered to fail after the 1-year warranty, but this one here just got broke. The power jack got snapped out, and this is usually how it goes with laptops. They'll leave them sitting on the floor and they'll leave them plugged in, so somebody will step on the cord and pop this whole thing out and damage it really bad. And this one here luckily wasn't soldered directly to the board. It has a much easier to replace design, but you still have to tear a computer apart to get to it. I have to tear this computer down to the motherboard so that way I can install the new cord. It has an internal cord that comes to this jack, and I actually have to hot glue it into place because they snapped out the original plastic here. But anyways, get that back up and running. And another thing I gotta do here pretty soon is this Dell Latitude D630 that's up under the stuff. I have two of these. I gotta replace the screen cable in them because the screens, for some reason, at the bottom of the screen, when you first cold start the computer, you'll get a bunch of lines and artifacts on the screen for about a minute or so, and then they'll eventually go away. And if it's not the cable, then it's probably the LCD screen itself. And here's another laptop behind it. This is a Dell Inspiron 1525, and there's a special thing about this laptop, how I got it. It's so special I can't really talk about it on YouTube because I mean this is a very rare occurrence kind of deal. It was actually a trade-in for a refurbished computer. Now I'm not going to state what kind of refurbished computer it was because, like I said, I'm not going to get into detail. It wasn't a freebie laptop, but I didn't pay that much for it since it was actually a trade-in. But this is a really nice laptop. I mean, it's been very well taken care of. It's got all the manuals, disc, everything with it. The charger, all that. Original factory charger. Slide this out of the way a little bit and get this open. A little stiff, so just give me a minute. Anyways, you can kind of see inside it. It's like a entertainment class notebook. The only thing wrong with it is it needs a reinstall of Windows. This laptop is in perfect running condition, but it does need some upgrades though. Just a little basic on specs. It only has a Pentium dual-core CPU and 1 GB of RAM, and of course running Vista. That's not a very good combination. So I'm going to be upgrading the RAM in this thing, and I'm going to be taking the CPU out of one of these Latitudes, doing a swap. I'm going to take the Pentium dual-core out of this laptop and stick it into one of these Latitudes because one of these is going to my grandpa, and of course he don't need a extreme high-end Core 2 Duo just to browse eBay and that sort of stuff. I mean, a Pentium dual core would serve him just fine. I could use that Core 2 Duo for video editing tasks. But Anyways, and I'll have to order some RAM for it. Probably get either 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes. Hopefully 4 gigabytes if it's not too expensive. It's DDR2. But just have a look at this thing. It's in very, very good condition. Not a scratch on it. Anyways, back to what I was doing. So that's one of the things I'm going to work on. And I need to get up here and scrap out all these Bestech power supplies, these ATX 2V12E units that are fried E-machines. I gotta scrap the parts out of them, get rid of these. And I may look at this FSP unit. This is actually a 300 watt FSP unit from an Acer. The power supply appears perfectly fine, but will not start. It gives a 5 volt standby. It gives 5 volt standby power, but nothing else. That's kind of a mystery on its own. And of course, there's another Bestech ATX 25012E. I mean, 12Z unit, excuse me, not the 12E. This is the Bestech ATX 25012Z unit that come out of another HP, which I'll have a look at the computer here in just a moment. Now let's go over some parts computers I got laying around in here. I got quite a few of them, as you might be able to see. I got a ton of parts computers in here. Anyways, this Dell laptop down here, it's an old Inspiron laptop from probably 2003. It was a gimme. It was given to me, and I've tried to reinstall Windows on it without success. It seems like there's something wrong with something in the computer. Like when you go to do a long format on the hard drive, it'll stop. You'll see the progress stop and the CPU fan run wide open, hot air come out of the back of it. I don't know what the deal is with it. I might just sell it as parts or just give it to somebody and let them deal with it, because I don't have the time to deal with it. And down here we got this Everex Impact GA3400. This computer has something very special about it. Something very unusual you'll find in a desktop computer, which I'll make a separate video about that later on. But anyways, it has a motherboard that probably needs to be reflowed. It has the dreaded GeForce 6100 series chipset that wasn't cooled very well, so it's probably in need of being reflowed. What's funny, it comes with a PCI graphics adapter, which is probably an aftermarket install. I can't believe somebody would actually go out and buy a PCI card, graphics card, when they got that free PCI Express slot available. I mean, this blows my mind. Anyways, this Dell Dimension, I gotta scrap it out because it's got a fried motherboard in it, which I believe a power surge either hit it or probably just the defective motherboard. So I'm gonna be taking the motherboard out of it and just scrapping all the useful stuff out of it and getting rid of this one. And here are two HP computers down here. Well, actually, one's a compact, the other's a HP. Actually, no, they're both compact, excuse me, but still, you get the idea. They're made by HP. And they both have these exact same motherboards. One come from the Computer Works store, and the other come from another thrift store called Community Thrift Store, right in the same general area off of Freedom Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. And both of these, I haven't tested them yet, but they're both socket AM2 boards with the NVIDIA GeForce 6100 series North Bridge and the Enforce 430 South Bridge. Both of them are the same exact boards. This one has a Sempron CPU, the other one has an Athlon 64. And these boards will make decent boards for like refurb machines or maybe a basic home theater machine. They don't have many connections on the back though. I'm kind of disappointed about that, but this is kind of similar to the motherboard that's in the Parts Home Theater machine, or also known as the Q Computer TV box. And these are decent little motherboards for basic run-of-the-mill computers. You can run Windows 7 with these just fine. They'll take up to like 4 gigs of RAM. And of course, here's another E-machine system. I've already got the board out of it that was fried, and the power supply, of course, is up on the shelf. One of those Bestech ATX 25012Es. And I'll be using this case to build a refurbished computer, and I like these cases a lot because they are completely non-proprietary. The only thing that is kind of proprietary is the faceplate design on the optical drives, though you can get different optical drives of the same brand, and usually you can snap these faceplates right on. I do like these faceplates though. If you ever notice on the Mid-Tower Deluxe, I've been using the faceplates from E-machines on my drives, as you can see. The top's a DVD-ROM, which is actually a pull from an E-Machines, and the lower one is a LightScribe DVD burner, which has a DVD-RW faceplate from an E-Machine. Anyways, I think, like I said, I like these towers a lot because they're so easy to work with. They're built very well, and of course you go on Newegg or somewhere and buy a brand new Micro ATX motherboard and a decent power supply, and maybe a decent graphics card or something, decent hard drives, the single hold 2 hard drives, and have you a decent computer. Anyways, let's see what else I got back here. Got this old gateway which I gotta pull the parts out of. It's a working computer, but I was gonna use the parts out of it to downsize its size, because I mean, I've never really been crazy about these big old gateway towers. They're heavy, they're hard to keep moving around. You can't fit them in small spots very well, unlike these E-Machine towers. Anyways, let's see what else I got. Down the very bottom is an Acer, which I've actually went over that one already. And let's see, back behind these two towers here is a small form factor Micro ATX machine. It was a parts only system, and it's the same case as what is built with the TV box. That's the reason why I got it. I think I only paid, yeah, $14.99 for this one. Has a fried motherboard. Power supply, I believe, is just fine. It just needs, of course, newer hardware, and of course I'll be using this for like a TV box for myself one day. Anyways, I believe that's all the parts machines I'll be going over today, and this general idea of what's coming up for me. Anyway, any questions or comments, feel free to ask.